して味方に監視をつけちゃうの？とにかく警備をまあそこそこにちゃちゃっと厳重にしなさい。
先ほどガートルード上席補佐官より準戦闘配備勧告を受けました。理由は不明であります。
ガートルードが
From Gertrude specifically. Wonder if it has something to do with her red truth.
じゃあ勧告に従っちゃいなさい。
Gertrude's red truth. Gertrude's red truths. Gertrude's red truths.
パーティーは賑やかな方がいいってことでしょ。
了解であります。WO よりシエスタ17、シエスタ38、シエスタ45、コード R、警戒発令、レベル2で待機を伝達。
17コピー、38コピー、45
了解。そこでコピーといえばかっこいいのにね。焦っちゃってつい。そうそう45。ちょっとこっち来て。なんです？ちょっと任務中です。ダメ、耳をいじんないで。耳おっとくに。
なんですって？冗談でしょ？
I know, right? Like the goats were playing with chopsticks and now they're all broken, sadly. Like we're all out of chopsticks and we sent an order for another batch of them. Gomenasai. Not that. I mean, it is a huge concern, but in regards to battle.
ありえない。
現在コーネリアを向かわせています。ベアトリーチェがここを襲撃する可能性が極めて大です。披露宴も中断されて退避されることを進言いたします。
どうしたのエリカ？何か余興に手違いでも？いえ我が主、どうぞ引き続き披露宴をお楽しみください。あ、誰かベルンカステル卿に梅干しワインのおかわりを。
The question had come too fast for Erika to hide her agitation. When Del Castillo saw this, she knew that their final late guest would soon be arriving.
ルシネ、ゲストハウスで動きがあったそうよ。
ゲストハウス？ゲーム版のことなんか今はくだらない話だわ。
それが密室のいとこ部屋からカノン君が失踪したって。
はあ？あんた分かってんの？いとこ部屋は扉も窓も完璧に封印されてる完全密室じゃない。失踪なんて不可能だわ。
いや、私も裏を取ってきた。間違いない。カノンはいとこ部屋より姿を消している。
いとこ部屋のどこかに隠れてるとか、あるいは最初からうまくごまかしてもともと部屋に入ってなかったとか。
不可能だわ。いとこ部屋にはエリカ卿が読み上げた特定個人数名以外の全員が入ってることが保証されてるのよ。ごまかして逃れることは不可能だわ。
どうやってユングフラウの封印結界を？いや、それよりカノンは一体どこへ？至急探しなさい。
At that moment, the cathedral suddenly went black. The surprise commotion of the guests filled the cathedral. Oh boy, is it time for a rave? It is, isn't it? Cheesters, prepare the multicolored spotlights.
来たわね。
WO よりオールシエスタ、コード R 警戒、シエスタ17、電源系統回復は
ネガティブ。管理室スタッフとの通信が途絶中。
オールシエスタ、コードレッド、ロックンロール。
Born to be wild, baby!
モテたいとマッチョなんて身も蓋もないぜ。
Ah, don't look at me. Chister Double O was the one who requested the song. True. Sorry.
コピー。コピー。
了解。あ、じゃなくてコピー。
The sniper teams and the chandeliers all released their safeties at once. The entire security team down in a hole loaded their ammunition.
エリカ卿、控室へ退避を。ここは危険です。
何が危険なんです？この世界の領主は私です。その私が何に怯えて逃げろと言うんです？
ガートルード、要人警護結界準備。コーネリアを至急呼び戻すのです。
近景、対応中なり。
結界？あんたらの無様でみっともない結界で婚礼衣装の私を包もうってんですか？なんたら侮辱！
This disturbance made even Beller groan, as he sat in the next seat like a doll. Even with his soul sealed, Beller probably realized that something strange was going on.
遅かったじゃない。ねえ、ラムダ。
そうね。待ちくたびれちゃったわね。
さっきのあれ、何？誰からのラブレ
ファンレターよ。ラムダちゃんファンクラブの。
Matilda played dumb and munched some popcorn. Then, the lights finally turned on. It was clear that during that blackout, Beatrice had snuck in somewhere nearby, possibly even inside the cathedral itself. The Whispering Goat attendees all realized it as well. Whose scheme was this? And what were they doing? While it may have been imprudent, they were looking forward to this, in an excited chatter filled the cathedral.
来たみたいね。
カープ、あなたもう戻ってきていいんですか？
私にほら、牢屋って意味ないし。
確かに。
でもリーチェ、バトラの密室もいとこ部屋も、そして唯一可能性のあった隣部屋も全て封じられてしまった。どうやってバトラを救い出す気なの？
お嬢様が何かのトリック X を用意できたと仮定しましょう。となればそれをエリカ卿に突きつけるべく乗り込んでくるは必至。
しかしこの大勢のシエスタ兵たちが相手では、まさかこんなに隠れていたなんて。無理だわ、縫い殺されてしまう。
Rabbit ears could be seen poking out all around the hole. It was incredible that such a large number of them could remain hidden and unnoticed.
エリカに一度だけ肉薄するチャンスがあれば、五分の勝負までは持ち込めるわ。
なるほど、その手ですか。しかしそのアイテムをお嬢様がお持ちだといいのですが、いつも面倒くさがっていくらご用意しても嫌われていましたからな。やれやれ、最後まで世話の焼けるお嬢様だ。
Amid the crowd, Ranoe took something out and showed it. What is it? When Virgilia saw the object in his hand, she understood its meaning. True, with that, it should be possible to stop the attacks from the Chister troops.
まあ、エリカに聞かなきゃそれまでだけどね。問題は、たった一度でもいいから、エリカの真正面まで行けるかだわ。シエスタたちはそれを断固阻止するはずよ。リーアなら、その時間をプレゼントできそうね。
Vegeta gave a small nod. However, the problem was the two Chister troops standing at her back. Since that time she had tried to jump out in front of the procession, she had been marked constantly. It was possible, with Vegeta's vast magical power, to momentarily take out all the Chister troops in the Cathedral. That would only gain a short bit of time, but it would be enough to confront Erika. The Chister troops knew this, so they kept a close eye on Virgilia with tense faces. At that moment, the great cathedral door was blasted to bits. The fragments became bright gold butterflies, which danced across the room in a beautiful blizzard of gold leaf. And that golden storm slowly faded away. Then, at the entrance to that red carpeted path to the grave, stood a calm, majestic figure. The one and only. It is finally time.
警護隊射殺せよ。
ネガティブ身元照合中。
Delano ordered the guards to shoot the intruder right away, but Chister 00 didn't comply. Was it because she had been warned about shooting these guests? I was afraid of the consequences if she accidentally shot a drunk guest who had disguised themselves as Beatrice as some sort of prank. Number 00 was just coolly and calmly carrying out her duties.
おや、これはてっきりご欠席かと思っていましたよ。
The pair faced each other from either end of the long red carpet. Everyone is dead silent. Only the wind can be heard. Beatrice on one end, and Erika on... Oh my goodness. What the hell are you looking at? I'm quite shocked beyond belief. Like, after 2 games together and just now I find this out. You are not flat? After battle, I'm gonna lock you in a mental hospital padded room. However, in between them stood several dozen Chister honor guards.
最高の来賓であるあなたがお越しにならないのでご心配申し上げておりましたとも。でもせめて披露宴には間に合ってよかった。
Battle laughed. That chuckle made Balor's eyes quiver slightly.
お前は。
待たせたな、フルドエリカ。
Beatrice!
祝福に来たぜ。
She had an overpowering and evil presence about her, strong enough to make anyone shiver. Was it still necessary for her identity to be confirmed? Who could possibly mistake this overwhelming presence?
ベアトリーチェー。地獄で会おうぜはわらわの好む別れの挨拶言葉であるが、身元確認。大ベアトリーチェ教と確認。まさにここがそうだぜ。フルドエリカ。
Alright. At that moment, the two Chister troops standing behind Virgilia slumped over and fell to the floor. Noby had touched the bases of their big ears from behind. Alright. It was clear that he had applied some sort of magic. Which means that Virgilia can move freely.
どなたかお医者様を、お嬢さん方が貧血のようだ。
オールシエスタ、オープンファイヤー。ベアト、今です。
Just an instant before the Chister troops could fire, Virgilia raised her arms to the heavens. Her magical power, which was more than enough to remind all present what her name had been at the height of her strength, became a spirit wave and exploded throughout the cathedral. The impact made the stained glass windows shatter, and colorful glass shards poured down everywhere.
冷戦防御、復旧急げ。
However, all the Chister's honor guards, who didn't have spirit particle defenses, toppled over like dolls. The sitting snipers, who were defended, were able to avoid their systems going down completely, but it would take several minutes before they could recover. Alrighty then. Sorry, Chister 410 and 45. And that span of time would be enough to reach Erika. However, Erika couldn't be defeated in just a few minutes. There was no way they could carry battle away in that time. What should they use this precious time for? Battle dashed down the red carpeted path. She ran down the path to the grave, which was lined by Chister troops lying there like corpses. She had called this place hell. In that case, running from hell to the grave was actually going backwards. And this figure dashing through the corpse-rid path truly symbolized her resurrection.
お嬢様、これを。
もらうぞ。
As she dashed, she snatched something white from Runaways' outstretched hand. There was no longer anyone blocking her path to Erika. Yeah, better prepare yourself for a big whooping, Erika. However, that instant, a golden thread came from in front of her and rapidly sewed through the red carpet towards her like a sewing machine.
Oh, 邪魔者がいたか。
再装填完了。データ要求に。射撃用レーダー補足。410へデータリンク。
410 was clever. She had predicted that Virgilia would go for a spirit particle attack, and it folded over her ears in 4-5s beforehand. So they were the only ones that weren't taken out. Ah, so that's what she was doing before when she was touching 4-5's ears. Smart.
射撃。
Once again, the golden sewing thread chased after battle, weaving like a sewing machine. It was as though an undulating golden snake was shooting after her.
こしゃくな。エリカとの一騎打ちの貴重な時間を邪魔しよって。
Bato jumped sideways away from the red carpet and ran across the top of a long table covered with beautiful food. The gold snake chased after her, sewing through the pure white tablecloth like a sewing machine and scattering dishes left and right. Oh no! Oh, God, the food! Ugh. Even the cabbages for the goats. The goat attendees ran about wildly, trying to escape. The cathedral was wrapped in pandemonium.
霊視攻撃を避けていたウサギがいたなんて。
まずい。あんなところに陣取られてはどうにもなりません。
The pair of snipers, attacking from high above on the chandelier, were much further away than Erika was. Too far for Bato to reach. Furthermore, their position couldn't have been worse for Bato, with the entire cathedral inside their range of fire.
お気の毒にベアトリーチェ様、恋の試練は過酷に。45追加弾層。
これ
Oh. Gop handed her the magazine. 4-5 always handed him over the wrong way around. So 410 was a bit confused to have one handed to her the right way up. 4-5, you look different now, yeah. Showing your side boobs today. Wait a minute. Side boobs? No matter how distant a position they might take, there was no problem for the elusive Gop. Gop twisted their long ears up, then tickled them with her thumbs. Uh-oh. Chister's greatest weapon was also their greatest weakness. The two doubled over with laughter.
この2匹は抑えたけど、あと何秒？他のシエスタが再起動する。
The other chandeliers, even more powerful Chisters were slowly starting to move again. It would be impossible to buy any more time.
ガープか。ありがたい。オンに切る。リーアたちも褒めてあげて。
ベアト、頑張りなさい。しっかり。
Run, Bato! Run!
もう時間がありませんぞ。
エリカ
Bato cut through the crowd of scampering goats like Moses. Her bow was straight in front of her, the place where Erika and Bella were seated. Just then, a red barrier was created, blocking her path. It was the VIP guarding barrier that Gertrude had set up. She stepped forward and laid out a last line of defense to block Bato's way.
近景。これ以上の接近を許さないものと知りたまえ。そんな壁でわらわを止められると思うか。
シエスタ再起動まであと何秒です？
30秒ないです。
As the eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory, those first stood in waiting behind the bride and groom. She wanted to save Bato. She could just distract Gertrude for a moment, and the wall would disappear. However, the seven sisters were furniture. They served the territory lord, so they couldn't move to help Bato. Delano glanced over at Lucifer. There was a chorus of tin to her eyes.
あなたは主の命令ない限り動くことは許されません。
主って誰よ。
バカね。
エリカのやつってことになってるでしょ。
違うわよ。私たちの主はバトラ様だわ。
そうだ、エリカはその代理に過ぎない。
そうよお姉様。私たちは誰の家具？美味しすぎるわ。つまみ食いしちゃおう。
The red absolute barrier flickered for just an instant. The Beelzebub's stake had pierced Gertrude's shoulder, and her concentration had wavered. Yeah, you should have thought about signing those contracts to make the 7 stakes actually Erika's instead of Beller as before. You should have thought about that. But it didn't break. Slowly and expressionlessly, Gertrude turned to look at Lucifer.
誰の命令なりや、エリカ教にその指示はなきなりと知りたまえ。
あるわ。我らが主の命令よ。
物言えぬ主に何を命令できるというなりや。
物聞かずともそれを察するが家具の道と見つけたり
ならやむもなし。
Seven stakes shot at Gertrude at once. Gertrude had chosen to take all those direct attacks, refusing to abandon the barrier until the last moment. And though she was resilient enough to do justice to the name of Eisenjungfrau and took no damage at all, the attack was more than enough to make her flinch and lose control of the barrier. Yes!
上出来だ、我が家具たち。
Battle shot through the scattered red fragments of the barrier, and she was finally right in front of the bride, her rival, Erika. However, there stood the final shield protecting Erika. Death sentence Delador.
遅いです。もはや時間切れです。ベアトリチェ卿。
シエスタ17よりオールシエスタへデータリンク。
Oh.
大天使衛星よりデータ入電。誘導方式氷結型概念誘導。
シエスタ20再起動完了。
シエスタ127再起動完了。
タイムオーバーに。そこらめ。
Yep. The other chisters are back up. Doesn't mean that you will get to survive this though.
リーチ、幸運を。
ドラノール。
どけ、ドラノール・エーノックス。そなたの出番はない。
あなたを否定する赤き真実をベルンカステル教より賜っています。ここがあなたの墓場となり残念です。
Oh. I guess this means we're beginning the fight? Okay then. Wishing you the best, Battle. I don't know what Bernkastel has allowed her to say. However, I don't need to sit around and let that longsword tell me.
そなたとは後でたっぷりと遊んでやろうぞ。だが今はどけ。
There's no time. The Chisters have already finished reactivating. Yeah, that's a point. I'm only living on a bit of borrowed time.
引くのはあなたの方です。出番を間違えた哀れな出演者があなたです。
The Anon's red longsword cut a large arc of absolute denial, which headed right for the crown of Battle's head. that instant, there was a thunk, and the sword was knocked slightly off course. Bato didn't let this good fortune go to waste. She slipped past the longsword, knocked Delano aside, and finally stood right in front of Erika. Oh. This time, not a single person stood in her way. Popcorn? Did Delano get stopped by popcorn? Wait, what? Or maybe she's hungry? The commotion quieted. However, no one fired. Why? They could have fired if they wanted to. All the troops had her fully in their sights and had removed their safeties. Of course, all of them had finished reactivating. However, they hesitated to pull the trigger. Delano's expression grew grim. Then, she quietly put her red longsword away. After all, Erika would have to make a decision. If she decided to ignore the thing in front of her, they could shoot to kill. However, if she picked it up, doing so would be unforgivable. So they couldn't pull the trigger until Erika decided. Okay, well, certainly... Well, I assume that Bato did something. She was right in front of Erika, so she must have done something there. Which means that she succeeded. Now she can finally confront Erika. Delta pointed, still chomping down on popcorn. Ah, okay. Now I see it. I see what they did. I see what you did there. It was hard to see from the balcony. Bato had thrown something like a white handkerchief at Erika. A handkerchief? It had fallen to Erika's feet. What was that white thing?
わかってるわ、あいつ。主役ってもんを本当によくわかってるわ。
面白いじゃないですか。
The thing that had hit Erika in the face had fallen to the floor. The item Bato had gotten from Noby was a white glove. A white glove? So that's the thing that they were talking about? Wait a minute. Is that actually the same thing that Noby mentioned? Like, giving Bato like all those previous games? He did say that before at some point. Also, it might be the same item that Virgilia gave Bato while she was running, like, in the middle of all that commotion. Well, okay. What the fuck does this mean, though? Hitting someone with a glove like that could only mean one thing. That was...
ゼタル、これは何？どういう意味なの？
これは決闘の申し込みさ。
Oh, okay. A request for a duel. Okay, gotcha. I feel like I've seen something like that before. Like, at the very least, in a cartoon or something. I don't know, just somebody just grabbing their own glove and then slapping the other in their face or something like that. Maybe it was part of a duel or something, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, like a part of me was trying to think that maybe it was a clue to a mystery. Maybe it was a servant glove or something for cleaning up stuff.
手袋を拾えばそれを受け入れることを意味する。
拾わなければシエスタたちが殺してくれるわ。
Well, gee, now I'm questioning why Shannon and Kanon did not use that white glove for their duel before. Just slap each other with the white gloves in comedic fashion before the pistol duel.
拾う必要ないじゃない。
拾わなくてもいいさ。でも決闘を逃げたおめえを僕らと参列の悪魔処刑は3回すべてに知らしめるだろうね。恋の決闘を逃げた臆病者の名を永遠にね。
Oh, quite dirty indeed. Beatrice waited firmly and composedly. If Erika just kicked it away, then that very instant, the chisters would probably all fire at once, turning her into golden embroidery. So, Erika did not have to pick it up. However, she could not afford to be afraid of picking it up. After all, she was a true victor who had defeated Baldur's locked room trick and logic. If she was the victor, she should have nothing to fear. So, if she was afraid of doing it, it would prove that she still felt a tinge of doubt about her victory.
拾わなければ私はこの衣装を汚すことなくあんたを殺してしまいますね。
それも披露宴の余興には面白い。だがそなたは拾うさ。
へえ、どうしてです？
わらわがそなたにぴったりの最高の土産を持ってきたからだ。そなたはそれが知りたい。だから拾うさ。
興味ないです。さようなら。
拾うさ。わらわが持ってきたバトラの客室などくだらぬ。もっとシンプルで単純で絶対に解けぬ密室をそなたは聞きたいはずさ。
絶対解けぬ密室。
Impossible, juicy, titillating locked room.
そなたはわらわの挑戦を受けたいはずさ。なぜならそなたは探偵だからだ。
Edgar threw off her wedding dress as though it was a cape. Yes, though she was a bride, a piece, and a witch. Before any of those, first and foremost.
私は探偵です。
That is indeed what I want to hear.
あなたを私の対戦相手に認めます。ただあなたはこのゲームに登場する資格をロジックエラーは修正できたんでしょうね。
その手袋を拾えばそなたとの戦いの中でそれが修正できたことを証明しようぞ。
グッド。
Oh. filled with noise. Erika had picked up the glove. Oh god! 2 of the hammiest girls in the universe are gonna fight each other. A duel. A duel! Cathedral was wrapped in a bizarre excitement. Who is gonna out-ham the other?
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
The runner pushed the crowd away, leaving the pair alone. People were permitted to witness this duel. However, no one would be allowed to hinder it in any way. That resolute expression returned, and she grinned boldly, looking down on Erika. Yes, there could be no doubt. And this was the expression worn only by the Golden Witch, the majestic presence of the master of locked rooms. A shadow dashed through the stormy rose garden. It was incredibly light and swift. The raindrops never touched him. He made no splashes in the countless puddles. His feet left no tracks in the mud. That rushing figure was Kanon. Alright, Kanon. Good luck out there! Then he ran up the stairs to the entrance of the mansion. He did not slow down in the slightest to open the door. He ran straight at it as though trying to break through, and leapt into it. Though the door was shut, even that couldn't stop Kanon. He slipped through the door, fell into the entranceway, and slowly stood up. His body wasn't even wet. Yeah, that is something that we never question in Umineko when it comes to people being wet and all that because of the rain. We never question that. And as he recalled those nostalgic days spent serving the Ushirimiya family, which would never come again, he ran once more. He was heading for Balor's guest room. He ran past the servant room, through the entrance hall, and past the door to the parlor. Then, the doors to the kitchen and the dining hall came into sight. All of it brings back fond memories. There was the honor and discipline of serving Kienzo directly. However, that man wasn't strict all the time. When the family was out of sight, and he didn't have to preserve that air of majesty. His face could turn him a little bit childish, and he would sometimes ask me to take part in strange pranks. The master let me shoot lots of guns, didn't he? That was pretty fun. Kraus-sama was actually surprisingly kind. I must have gotten the impression that the master bullied me a lot. Whenever I was the only one around, he would talk to me in a very familiar way, almost as if he was a classmate of mine. Yeah, you know, I do remember that one small time when we seen Shannon in the dining hall with Kraus, and Kraus was complimenting her. I sort of regret that I held back. I never did anything but nod in return. Madame was a really straight person. Ever since a rumor spread about her being straight on female servants but soft towards male servants, I get the feeling she viewed me as an enemy. However, she was also a woman to be pitied. On many occasions when she was alone, I saw her shoulders sagging from burns. There were a lot of servants, weren't there? Some lasted a short while, others longer. Genji-sama is the one person fit to be called my father. I am both grateful and resentful towards him over many things. Over time, all those feelings mixed together, cancelled out, and left me with a neutral emotion. You know, Kanon, all this is wonderful introspection over here, but you know, this is the first time you're gonna be seeing them. I assure you, you will be in the next games. Hopefully. In that case, Kumasawa-san could probably be called my mother. She helped me out so many times. I always wanted to repay her someday, and I lost the chance for all time. Shannon is my big sister. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to be me. Thanks for teaching me that the ocean is blue. Gora? I hate that guy. Plain and simple. Still, when I complimented his servants too, he would sometimes turn red and tell me that it was enough for seconds. I surely did not dislike that part of him. I wonder why such strong memories popped in the short time it took me to run past the dining hall. And then, my memories of Jessica. Oh. So you're a boy servant. How old are you? I think those were the first words she spoke to me. Come to think about it, she was probably interested in me ever since then. I really did have enough time to build up a love that could have competed with the love between George-sama and Shannon. But since I could only see the Great Sea, I wasted almost all that time. What does she like about me? What do I like about her? I get the feeling we were never really able to clarify that for ourselves. Which is what I thought the test was going to be about, but I digress. No. She told me. There's nothing wrong with spending more time together to eventually find that out. The reasons for the love could have come later on. It took me far too long to realize that. Now, I think I can accept it. I know why Shannon won the duel. God must have been watching. He had so much more courage than I did, and God didn't abandon you. I reached the hallway with the guest rooms. There was someone lying on the ground. It was Bella. He was lying just outside the guest room, a chain tied to his neck. Hey there, buddy! Yeah, probably struggled to do something with the chain lock from the outside, until he lost consciousness. His fingernails on both hands had been torn off, and they were stained with blood. I could tell at a glance just how hard he tried until the final moment, when his heart had died. The collar binding him wouldn't disappear unless the chain lock was set.
バトル様、大丈夫です。今、お助けします。